Hi everyone, I'm Michaela Walker. Welcome to the Picturehouse podcast. I'm here today with Jaz Njie, who is the host narrator of the absolutely fantastic documentary Climate Scam, which is going to be screening across 6 picture houses across the country, starting with Bath from March 16. And we're going to have a very special screening of Climate Scam on March the 20th at the iconic Ritzy Cinema in Brixton.
Is climate change really the biggest challenge humans have ever faced? Or is it all just a big hoax?
I first came across this documentary when Felicity, who heads up Picturehouse's green screen, put it in front of me and asked if Dark Matter would like to be involved. I had a look and I was absolutely blown away. Um, it's a brilliant doc, and we're going to talk a bit about that later. But the thing that I want, the thing that most captured me, I think, was you, Jaz. You were absolutely the most wonderful host narrator. I wanted to know, how did you get involved with Climate Scam?
Um, so thank you, first of all. That was really nice of you. But yeah, I was literally a hairdresser, working in a salon at the time. And Claire, the producer, she was doing my hair and we'd talk about her films and everything and what she was doing. And, I'd say, oh, I saw like a dead beaver one day. And she was like, oh my God, like, did you report it? I was like, yeah, I reported it. And then she was like, do you know what? Would you like to be on one of my films? And I was like, yeah. So she just told me about the climate scam film and what she was going to be doing. Just went for an interview with her and Bryony, who also produces and films. And then it just started from there, really.
Climate change is a natural event. Global warming is a man-made invention.
Join me on a journey to sort the facts from the fake news.
Had you heard of Cornwall Climate Care before Claire had got in touch with you about this?
I actually hadn't. No. No, I hadn't. She was just sort of telling me about it when I'd met her, and then I started watching her films, and then got into it. But yeah, I didn't even really know too much about it before.
And so it's kind of, yeah, it's quite serendipitous that you were doing Claire's hair and you guys got on really well. And there's something about hairdressing, isn't there? Like all of the stories, and it's almost like a confessional booth, isn't it?
Definitely, it
Do you
actually
think?
is. Start talking to people, you just realize everyone's so different, and so many different jobs that people do that I didn't even know existed and things. It is crazy.
And do you think, like going a bit back to the beginning of it all, do you think that you've always had this quite inquisitive nature and been really interested? I mean, an inquisitive nature and interested in environmental issues. Has there always been that for you?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I've always really just wanted to know everything about what's going on with our planet, and because I've always enjoyed being outside. That's just my happy place. So when I'm outside and in nature, I feel really comfortable, and then I just start to look at the animals and stuff and the trees, and I just feel like I really want to protect everything around us. And I just felt like for my whole life, sort of like when I've been seeing videos of like the rainforest being chopped down and fires, and I just felt this like horrible just feeling like guilt for humanity and what we some people are doing to the planet. So yeah, I've always wanted to put my foot forwards and be one of the amazing people that do everything, and thought, yeah, I've always looked up to them and thought, yeah, I want to be part of that.
I'm really excited for people to see you in your role within the documentary. I think you're just so relaxed, and I think your interviewing style really puts people at ease. So you interview activists and climate change deniers and also scientists. And I wondered if you could just tell us a little bit about those 3 sets of people that you interviewed, and what the experience was like talking to each of them. Maybe let's kick off with the scientists.
Yeah, so the scientists were all amazing because I actually started with the scientists. So yeah, like
Right.
straight in with them, and I was thinking, oh my god, like how is this gonna go? I didn't really know to expect, and they were all just so lovely. But the main feeling I got from all of them was just this, just like they just feel so strongly about wanting to people to listen to them, and they just can't understand how they've been doing all this research, and people are just going, nah, it's not real, and just like that sort of hurt that they're feeling really was just, I could really see that in their eyes, like they were feeling like they want people to just listen to them. So they were really lovely, and they did put me at ease, and being in their homes and stuff, and just realizing like they do so many cool different things other than just, you know, your typical scientist. Like
a reggae was what I think one's a reggae DJ, is that right?
amazing. Yeah, literally.
I love it.
Got amazing like instruments everywhere and plants, and it was just, yeah, they were, all of them were just absolutely amazing people, so interesting.
Was it quite daunting, you know, like when you think about, you know, oh, I'm going to go and interview some scientists today? Was it quite scary doing that? Or I mean, you said they put you at ease, but how did you prepare for speaking to them? They're such academics, and it's a bit mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we just sort of went for it. We didn't really prepare too much. Claire sort of gave me a little rundown of how it was going to go, but she was just like, I trust you, it'll be fine. So just do it. But yeah, so it was just really, really fun. But I wasn't nervous until maybe like when I was just sat in the chair and the camera started rolling. I was like, oh right, this is serious. We've got a setup, we've got lights, and I'm just there like, right, just be composed. But yeah, after the first interview, I was actually absolutely fine. After that, I just sort of felt comfortable with everyone around me as well. Everyone was really lovely.
What we know about disinformation is that it thrives in times of crisis.
Climate change is scary. Conspiracy theories are very comforting.
The activist that you met, that was obviously done over a period of time, because the second time that you interview her, she explains that, well, I don't want to, no spoilers, but she's obviously been charged with she's been charged because of some of the activism she's done, the damage, and you speak to her after the charge has been ruled.
Yeah. So yeah, Holly, she was absolutely lovely. She's just done so much in her community, and you can, like, when the first time we met her, we went straight to her house, and yeah, we had a cup of tea, and she was just sort of telling us everything and how she's got into activism, and she's just so motivated, like, and she just said, she was like, you know, I'm not a scientist, but I trust the scientists, and I look into it a lot, and I just really think that we need to, like she was just saying, basically everyone can see the changes happening around us and no one's doing anything about it. So
yeah,
our community really wanted to put their foot forward and say, right, we're gonna stop this, and try and make some changes. And then obviously she did face some charges afterwards, which I just thought was horrendous, really, considering like what people can get away with now.
Yeah,
you just think, right, so someone that wants to stand up for the voice that can't speak for itself, which is nature and the planet, and then you get someone who can do something really horrible to someone and get off scot-free is just terrible, really. But I mean, just walking around with her when we went to do her mural, when we went to film her doing her mural, she was just, everyone in the community was like, hi, Holly. They all just really, a lot of people do stand up for what she's doing. On the majority, I think people that know her go, yeah, she's a lovely person. But I think a lot of activists get a bad rap on the, like, on news and things, unfortunately.
No, I found her section parts of her section quite moving, because you can really see how much it means to her. And it's almost like, I found when she was describing why she does what she does, I found it very moving. You really get a sense of how much it means to her. And I thought your questions, the way you drew that out of her was done so well.
Oh, thank you. No, she, yeah, absolutely lovely to work with, speak to.
And our denier that you spoke to.
Yes.
And he's such a character.
Definitely. Yeah, so Tony, I did not know what to expect with Tony, because I was like, he's a denier, and you just hear a lot of different things about the sort of like hate, especially after talking to the scientists. A few of them have gone through like massive like hate and people like keeping on with them and death threats and horrible things like that. So I really didn't know what to expect with Tony. So when we got there, we were like, what's he going to be like? And then Tony was actually really coming from a place that I think a lot of people in society are coming from. He was more of a skeptic, but he was the only one that would speak to us. So Claire had messaged loads of deniers, like really outrageous deniers, and not one of them wanted to speak to us, because she was like, they always say they don't get a voice, so let's give them the voice. But people, I think a lot of them didn't want to get proven wrong, whereas Tony was very, very, I don't know, I think he's just more of a skeptic. So he realized, like, the government are telling people to do certain things, like, oh, you need to pay this emission tax, you need to do this, you need to stop getting flights to see your family abroad, but then I can go and take a 15-minute flight. It's just, and I think he was coming from that place, like, they can't tell us what to do if they're not doing that themselves. And when we went out and spoke to people in the street, a lot of people were saying the same thing. So I think Tony's sort of position is comforting to a lot of people, because they're like, well, it's more like it's a conspiracy. The polls are changing.
Yeah.
So that's what's causing it. So it's not humanity's fault. We don't have to change. And I think that's a more comforting thing than people saying we need to change our whole lifestyle. So I think that's where a lot more deniers are swayed that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, really, because he was just such a lovely guy. So you don't want to hate everything he's saying. But yeah, some things I was a bit like, oh, I don't know, because the scientists were saying, no, it's not the magnetic poles. It is the fact that we're burning fuel.
Yeah.
But
And I think that's what's so good about this documentary. It's very accessible, and I feel like we hear both sides in a way that doesn't feel angry or confrontational. It's just like presenting thoughts from both sides, and then the audience can make their minds up. I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty obvious, but I think it's still important for films like this to be made, and then and for audiences to come and see and create conversation and push the agenda forward. It's so great that, I mean, Picturehouse's green screen, this strand of films is just, it's so important.
We as a human species could go extinct, and even at the very last moment there will still be people denying it.
How do you make sense of this bonkersness that we have in the world?
I wanted to touch on some of the young people that you spoke to. We're also going to be screening a film called Climate Anxiety, which looks at the effects of the climate issue on young people and the rising feelings of anxiety and the way that it affects our mental health. And we're going to be screening a short before your film. When you were talking to a lot of the young people in the film, I noticed that they were definitely experiencing some climate anxiety. Did you get that sense too?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a few of them, it was just like, this is our world, and we just sort of feel like we're burdened with everyone's, like there was the Industrial Revolution, all of these different things, which, our great-grandparents, parents have profited off, and now we're having to all take a step back and go, oh, everything's got to change for us. But I don't know, I think it's a lot of, the young people are scared, I think, because we don't know what our future's going to be. And yeah, I think I think we just sort of, when I was talking to them, they were just sort of like, oh, we don't know what we can do. There's no like guideline. And I think, you know, when you're young and you come out of school, and most of these were just out of school, and they've, you know, you're told what to do all the time, then all of a sudden you've got to go into the world and make these decisions for yourself and look after the planet and everything. And people are, you know, adults are arguing, saying, oh, it's this, it's that.
Yeah.
Young people just don't really know what to do. They just feel stuck. And then they're like, but I'm trying to find my way. I'm trying to get a mortgage, get a job, but then I also need to get an electric car, which is more expensive. And and they want to travel, but then they can't travel. I think it's just a lot going on. And I think young people are getting stressed and feeling like, you know, this is going to be on our shoulders when we grow up. And yeah, it is hard. I think it would be good to sort of understand that more and see how we can help young people to guide them to not feel depressed or anxious about these things, and try and make a positive impact instead of, you know, sort of going away into our shells.
So our screening of Climate Scam is at the Ritzy Cinema, the iconic Ritzy Cinema in Brixton, on March the 20th. Jazz, I'm so excited for you to see this cinema and experience a London Brixton audience. It's going to be brilliant. So we're going to be curating a panel, and Jazz is going to be on the panel. And then afterwards, we're all going to hang out in the bar and talk about the film and share ideas and connect. So we would love everybody to come along to that. There is also a tour of the film at Picturehouse cinemas. It's going to be screening at 6 Picturehouse cinemas across the country, starting from March 16 at Bath. So everybody should come along and watch this incredible film. One last thing before we go, Jazz. I just wanted to ask if people could take away one thing from this film, what would you hope that they take away?
I would hope that people just trust the scientists. That's the main thing. I think just leave the science to the scientists. I just think they are not evil, power-hungry people, and the more you talk to them, you realise, like, actually it's impossible for this massive conspiracy to pay these people off. It's just so crazy to even believe that when you meet them, and just think they're just everyday people with kids, with families that want to cook nice dinners and look after their gardens and just look after their planet. They're not here to ruin the world. And I think, that's the main thing I think would be my main message, I think.
That's a great note to leave on. I agree. So I'll see you in Brixton on March 20th. Bye.
See you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
We need to stop the attacks and pull together in the same direction.
Thank you for watching Picturehouse Cinema's unique video content. Hit the subscribe button to be kept up to date with our movie news, cast and crew interviews, highlights, trailers, and lots more.